Welcome to your weekly tarot tutorial as part of my Tarot Talk series. In this video, I'll be breaking down the symbolism and meaning of the magician. I'm Heather Ellis, and I've been reading tarot for over 30 years. I combine the traditional meanings of the cards with intuitive insights to bring forward messages meant to guide you. Here on my channel, I help you find clarity in love, money, and well-being. Whether you're here for a reading or to learn the tarot yourself, my goal is to support you in living with more purpose and self-trust. If you're interested in a tarot reading for your zodiac sign, be sure to check out my weekly tarot reading for June 23rd to the 29th video. You'll find that link to that video in the description below. I just watched a mid-month reading by Maggie the Irish Gypsy Psychic Tarot, and during her reading, she communicates the meanings of the cards throughout her readings, so you can see how card meanings are practically applied to your life if you're looking for some more information. If you find value in today's video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel grow and tells me what kind of content you want more of. Now let's dive into the magician and learn about the magician card. Okay, so here is our magician card. I've got my handy dandy glue stick, and we are going to put some glue on that bad boy here. Okay, I think that's enough. And I'm going to just secure it in there. Something I didn't mention with the last video was there's enough room left on the page that as you learn to work with the card and its energy, you can add additional points to it. So be sure that you remember that and add to it every time you open the book and reflect on the cards. So we're starting here with the magician. And let's see, what color do I want to use today? I am going to use blue because I like blue. Blue is my favorite color. Okay, so we have the magician here, and we see the magician in the card. And so you see this person standing here. He's got the infinity symbol over his head. It's the number 1. There's some plants growing around here, and he's got a table here with a cup, a pentacle, a sword, a wand, and there's all these plants growing here in the front. He's got a red robe, a white tunic here, and he's got one hand, you see his finger pointing to the ground, and he's got holding up his wand here with it pointing up to the sky. So this is our magician in the Rider-Waite deck. So we're going to start with this infinity symbol here above his head, and I'm going to write that down, infinity symbol. So again, if you're making a book along with me, you can write these out as we go along. And so the infinity symbol here, this is one of the most recognizable symbols in the tarot. The infinity symbol represents the endless flow of energy between the spiritual and physical realms. It is a direct connection to the divine or infinite potential. The magician here, as a conduit, channels this infinite energy and makes it manifest in the material world. The number 8 here in numerology, which is connected to this symbol, represents abundance, material power, and spiritual balance. So we're going to write here with this that, let's see, we're going to say connection to spiritual and physical, like a spelling error, realms. Okay. Energy conduit. And we're also going to do 8, the number 8. Okay, and this is connected to, it represents abundance, material power, spiritual balance. Okay, and next we're going to move on to this red robe that the magician is wearing. And I'm going to write it over here. So red robe. Okay. So red is the color that symbolizes vitality, energy, and action. So I'm going to write that underneath: vitality, energy, and action. In many cultures, it also relates to passion and the physical realm. So the red robe represents the magician's mastery over the material world. So that is an important point here. So I'm going to write that down. So mastery over, and you can do it point form, over material world. Okay. And the next symbol that we have here is the white shirt. So the white tunic or the white shirt underneath, and I'm just going to write white shirt. So the white shirt symbolizes purity, spiritual power, and the clarity of the mind. So I'm going to write those points here. I'm just going to put purity, spiritual power, clarity of mind. Gotta squeeze that in. So it's the magician's connection to higher spiritual principles and his inner self is what this really represents. And then we're going to move up here to this wand. So this wand pointed upward and hand pointed downward. So this axis here that we see. And this really indicates a as above, so below. So I'm going to put, how am I going to write this? Wand pointed. I'm doing short form here. Upwards. I'm just going to put up. Hand pointed down. And I'm just going to do that. Okay. So this is the classic symbol of alchemy, reflecting the Hermetic axiom that what is in the spiritual realm is reflected in the physical. So I'm going to write as above, so below. And then we have the upward motion wand is signifying spiritual guidance. So the magician's actions are spiritually guided here. So I'm going to write spiritual guidance. While the downward hand is suggesting manifesting those spiritual ideas into the material world, into that physical, tangible world that we can touch, feel, see. So spiritual guidance, and I'm going to write spiritual guidance for manifesting. Material world. If you need to write it slightly differently so you remember it, go ahead. You don't have to stick strictly to what I'm writing. So do please remember that. Yeah, like this is about making this your own. It's about learning them, but also learning the tarot cards, but making them your own. And then we're going to move to the numerology. So we have the number 1 here. So I'm going to write number 1. Okay. And so the number 1 is a number of unity, it's a number of leadership, and it's the one, the individual. So I'm going to write leadership and individual. It represents really the power of creation and the beginning of an action. So beginning action. Create power of creation. Okay. And then we have in astrology, the magician is related to the planet Mercury. So I'm just going to write Mercury down here. And Mercury is the planet of intellect. So I'm going to write spelling error again, planet of intellect, but also the planet of communication. So I'm going to just do communication. I'm doing my short form for communication, and also dexterity. And I'm actually going to do the little symbolism for Mercury as well, just because I love my astrology. And there we go. Here's Mercury. So now I'm also going to do an interpretation of the card. I'm going to write it up here because at the bottom I'm going to do the reversals. So interpretation. So the magician is really representing, when you take into consideration all of these, the magician represents action, manifestation, and mastery. So these symbols that are on the table, this is the cup, the pentacles, the swords, and the wands. These are the 4 suits in the tarot deck. And they're on the table because the magician has mastered the energy, can use these tools to create. So that's where this mastery comes in. So I'm going to write action, manifestation, and mastery. So when you find the magician turning up, it is a call to harness your skills, your tools, and abilities to make things happen. So I'm going to write harness, skills, tools, abilities, and then also this card urges you to also take control of your destiny and make your visions real, right? That's spiritual to the physical, the visions to the physical, making them real, and connecting that spiritual potential to the material action. So one more thing I'm going to add here is taking control and little arrow to make visions. And I'm going to put in brackets here, spiritual potential. So make visions real. And that is going to be in brackets, material action. Then at the bottom here, I'm going to write reversals. But before I go through the reversals, I just want to give you a little bit more insight into if you were doing different kinds of readings, because there's different kinds of readings you can do. You can do a reading on career, a general reading, one on relationships. So, and how you translate cards can change slightly based on the type of reading you're doing. So in a general reading, the magician can indicate a supportive person who gives useful advice, or someone who is like well placed to move a project forwards towards a successful completion. It also indicates that in a general reading that it's a good time for you to take action on any of dreams or the visions or goals that you have, that this is a good time to take those ideas and make them real. When you have a career layout, the magician can indicate that professional success is likely, partly due to the focus and attention that you are giving to your goal, and also an awareness of how best to structure the process. Okay. When you're looking at a relationship reading or a relationship, the magician can describe someone who's really has a well-developed sense of purpose and can make difficult things look easy. Because remember, relationships aren't always romantic relationships. They can also be like just friends, partners, business relationships as well. But this is the magician can represent a person then to pay attention to, that they will support your plans. And so they're providing that supportive, allowing you to turn something, an idea or a vision that you have in your career into reality. When you're looking at a health question, the magician can indicate good health through a combination of nourishing your physical, but also your spiritual side of yourself. And now we're going to get into the reversal. So when you see the magician reversed, it often describes that there's a lack of success because you're out of touch with reality. So I'm going to just write that, lack of success, because BC, out of touch with reality. And you are seeing all my short forms here. My shorthand. I think that's an outdated skill these days. Now we all just use emojis. And let's see what else. And it can also indicate that there's confusion or impatience. Impatience. And the reason for this is, and because of that, the person does not have a clear plan. So I'm just going to write no clear plan of action. I'll add that too. I mean, sometimes too, the timing can be wrong. And that comes down to like that divine timing, right? Timing is off. Okay. And sometimes this card can also represent, when it's reversed, this is someone who's a little bit of a con artist. So you think of that, you think of the person, the hustler on the street, right? With the cups, and they put something under a cup and they mix them around, and then you've got to pick the cup. And if you don't pick the right one, you're losing your money that you've bet on. So this can represent a bit of a flim-flam man. So that's when it's reversed. This can also represent that someone is not being completely honest or upright with you or truthful with you, and that they're trying to con you. So I'm just going to put con artist, like the street hustler, snakeskin oil seller, or whatever they call that. And there we go. So that completes your lesson on the magician. Again, make this your own, make it fun, and I hope you enjoyed this lesson. And next week we will be looking at the High Priestess. So make sure you tune in, like, share, subscribe, click on that notification bell. Comment below if you found value in this, and also come across any other meanings. Be sure to comment below so anyone that's watching these videos can read through the comments and add those other meanings to their journal. And I hope you have a wonderful week and take care.